House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
Half a day, everybody, and welcome to House to Home. Once again, my favorite time of the week is I get to hang out with two very good friends of mine and just talk about real estate, making people's dreams come true. And you know, if you're of the entrepreneurial spirit, you can make a little bit of money, and who among us doesn't need that these days? Liz and Gina from RE/MAX Diamond Realty are the ladies with all of the answers. So ladies, half a day. Always good to see you guys.
Half a day, Jace.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I'm worried about, I'm hoping we can do something, because I've always wanted to direct, right? I want to like make a little movie. Let's do role playing this afternoon, right? If we can say, what are the roles and responsibilities of both from the buyer's perspective and the seller's perspective?
From a listing agent or selling agent. Okay.
Yeah, so we don't need casting directors. I already know I want Liz and Gina to be part of this like movie or play or TV show and everything like that. So if you would,
we're guaranteed the role, you said?
Yeah. We don't need to involve the unions or anything like that. Screen Actors Guild, you know, no need for that. We'll just go straight cash, right?
There you go.
But in a typical transaction and everything like that, where would the scope of responsibility basically begin and end? And is there any like gray area that is still problematic to you these days?
Okay, I'll play the role of the buyer's agent, and maybe Liz can go first representing the sellers.
Okay, so normally if I'm representing a seller, I would of course get all the legal description for the property. I would get the address, because those are critical parts of the listing contract. And then I would do an inspection of the property. And part of the inspection would be, of course, let's say you're selling a home, Jason. Mm-hmm. So I would go and inspect the home. And basically, there are a few things I would look from the exterior, the setback, making sure that things are in place and that there are no issues with the government. Then I would go inside and look at the property to see the condition. Is it the square footage? I would either measure it or get an old appraisal that shows the measurement. So basically inspect the property to see what we can ask for it. So part of the process is looking at it, taking photos, and then doing a market analysis to see how many properties out there have actually of similar quality have sold, and then how can we price your particular house? I mean, how many bedrooms? Because of course the size of the home, of course, could increase the price, the location, and what upgrades have you done? If you have granite floors or granite countertops, higher end fixtures, the location. So there's a number of things I would look at in order to do a market analysis to establish the price for that property. Now, once we do that and we place it on the market, let's say you're in agreement, you want to price it at $500,000, and we place the property on the market, then the more work continues, because if Gina brings in a buyer, then of course she's going to look at the property and they may offer a price. So between agents, if she brings me an offer, my job is to take it to the sellers and say, okay, we've got an offer, and start weighing what are the terms and conditions. We may have 5 offers on the property. So my role was to assist them to review the terms and conditions of each offer. So, and then weighing what is the strength of each offer. If it's cash, then of course, you know, that has some weight if it's at the asking price. So again, that's critical in terms of reviewing all the offers, the terms and conditions, to help the seller arrive. Bear in mind, I'm not the seller. My job is to help you, Jason, the seller, at reviewing the offers and then making a decision on which one to accept, or countering the best offer, or countering all the offers, stating, give me your best and final offer, especially since you know there's competition. But if there's one offer that appears to be really strong, less contingencies meaning what does the seller have to do to complete the contract based on those terms and conditions, and then we can move forward. Mm-hmm. So if the offer is subject to appraisal, then of course we have to wait for that. because sometimes the offers will state certain things. But our role as a listing and selling agent would be to assist you, the seller, through every step of the process and using facts and figures to determine what is fair market value for listing and determine what is a fair price for the asking and selling the property. And then, of course,
so now we've got the yin. Gina, let's go focus on the yang, right? Because it is, the transaction is equal parts buying and selling, and there is negotiation between the two, right? So from the buyer's perspective, where do you come in, and what are the tasks that you have to oversee?
So my first responsibility when buyers contact me, I go through a series of questions, and I do ask their permission, because sometimes in my years of doing real estate, I find that you ask questions to these buyers that are calling for help, and some of them actually feel offended. So as a real estate agent, it's intrusive. Our questions really need to get into the nitty-gritty of your financial situation and your motivation for looking. And the reason is in certain markets, like we have all acknowledged right now, it's a seller's market. And the reason we say that is if you put one piece of property, if you list that piece of property and you're getting 5 to 10 offers at a time, that tells you that there are more buyers looking for homes than there are homes on the market for sale. So that's a seller's market, okay? It is my responsibility in working with buyers to explain that to them, because if they don't understand that fully, then they're not going to be competitive. They're not going to be able to help themselves when they're competing with other buyers. So that's the first thing. When you call me, I am going to get into as much information as I feel you can handle. Because as I said, some people get offended. I'm asking too many questions, and they feel like I'm just trying to intrude into their privacy. And I'm
not.
A
doctor can't make you put you in a state of optimal health if they don't know every single thing about you. And I would assume the same applies to you as real estate agents, is you can't give the buyer or seller the best deal possible if you don't know their situation.
Yes, I cannot give the best advice if I don't ask all the right questions. So, my thing is, if you call somebody and you're asking, and you're a buyer and you need help, and they're not asking enough questions, then you should ask yourself if they know what they're doing. Because throwing you in, before we used to drive people around, now we don't do that anymore, right? But asking you to come and meet me at a property so I can show it to you, that's the easy part. If you fall in love with the home and you want to make an offer and I don't know what to do next because I didn't go through my series of questions with you, then what is the point of me taking you out there and showing you the property if I haven't prepared you to make an offer in case you fall in love with a home? So the process is this. I'm going to ask you if you've already pre-qualified. I'm going to ask you where you pre-qualified, because not all lenders are created equal and they don't all offer the same type of loan. And once I know where you've pre-qualified, it may give me an idea of what type of mortgage you're going to use. And that's important because it tells me what kind of home you could look at. And so I ask all those questions. If you fall in love with a house, what are you prepared to do? And the answer to that question tells me what I need to do next with that particular customer. Do I need to send you to the lender or not, or lenders or not? And then my other question is, have you already prepared yourself to buy? Because if you haven't prepared yourself to buy, bottom line is, if you haven't put away some kind of savings, this is the wrong market for you to be in. Because when you go to the bank to ask for a mortgage, whatever mortgage it is, all of the mortgages require that you pay to get that loan, the closing cost, the loan fee. There are some loans that will allow you to roll in, they call it roll in the fees, but you can't roll in all the fees. And some of the loans require down payment. So depending on your particular circumstance, I may, and that's why I ask all these questions, because I want to know what can I focus you to? Which loan do I think will be the best for you based on your current finances and your situation and how much you have saved up to make this home purchase? We can't make your dream come true if we don't ask you all the right questions.
Exactly. Well, and we literally have like a minute left. So I'd like to kind of conclude with this. With the idiosyncrasies and particularities, ladies, of the customer on Guam, either from the buying or selling side of the coin, do you see, as real estate professionals, more people being very, very savvy and they're familiar with the process, like Gina said, or are they complete, like, first-time home buyers and complete newbies to all the sequence of events that they're going to have to go through, and they just say, I want to buy a home, or I've got property and I want to sell, but I have no idea what the sequence of events is? Where do most Guam consumers fall in that spectrum?
We get a mix. We get some that are savvy, and then some are just newbies, as you put it. But our role is to inform them of the process and what's needed to get things done. And Gina put up an excellent point. I just got a call the other day. They were saying, do you pre-qualify? I told the agent, yes, you've got to pre-qualify. If they want to buy a property that's $750,000, you got to ask them the right questions. Well, we ask the right questions. We don't just show you property. We make sure we're going in the right direction. You need a map. And part of our process is drawing the map for every consumer that we work with.
All right. All right. Well, as they say in business, time is money for the buyer, for the seller, and as we learned today, for our real estate agents. So Liz, Gina, always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay. And this concludes Real Estate Theater. Take a bow, ladies. You did a very, very good job.
Thank you, Jace.
I'll throw over the roses virtually like later on. So thank you very much.
Got it.
There you go.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.